welcome to another episode of the Ghuman Human Experience. And today I'm excited because I've got a person who is responsible for probably changing over 10,000 people's lives. And you might say that's a lot of people, but she has. And here's why. She is the owner of the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition branch in Ottawa. And she's responsible for so many nutritionists graduating from the school, helping people achieve their goals, and making sure that we as nutritionists accomplish all of our goals. And she made sure we got out of school, right? Really important. So I'm excited to be having Nat on the show because Nat is a person who I truly connect with and respect and has a lot of knowledge, but truly also lives the healthy lifestyle. We get into all types of topics. We get into nutrition. We talk about the future of nutrition. We talk about exercise. We talk about being a parent. We talk about, the ups and the downs of trying to eat better. And so I hope that you guys all enjoy this episode because I feel like I got so much information out of it. But at some points, I actually felt like I was being interviewed by Nat and she was asking me more questions than I got in her. So great information. If you're a nutritionist, listen. If you're a person who just wants to learn more about health, have a listen. And if you have any feedback about this episode, let us know. If you have questions or concerns, we're always happy to help you out. And I hope that you enjoy this episode. And thank you very much for taking the time to listen because I know that you could be doing so many other things and so many other podcasts to listen to. I truly appreciate it. Have a wicked day.
When you think about the crap that's on the internet, like that's what people will do, right? 5 ways to whatever.
Yeah.
Click. They don't even read the paragraph, right? Just the bold heading. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool, got it, and away they go.
But that's also because we live in an information-based society now, right? Everything is fast. Everything has to be hit. And it's funny because in our office, I have that hard time because people say, Harry, I was online and I saw my friend, she lost 20 pounds doing something. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And then it takes me 20 minutes to explain how we're going to, people aren't also into, to explain them to the why you came up with it also takes like a half an hour. And sometimes they don't want to hear it because they're like, oh, well, how am I going to lose 10 pounds in 1 year? That's not good. I want to lose 20 today. I'm like, well, you can do that. We can do it that way. But the problem is you may have a problem retaining and maintaining all of that information and results that it's just going to be a waste anyway.
I'm actually I feel I'm not a nutritionist, thankfully, because I actually feel skeptical about the future of business for you guys because it's like this individualized approach that you take where we're going to look at everything and then these are all the steps that you have to take. That takes commitment. And I don't feel that vibe from anyone anymore. Well, what do you mean? My friend just ate this or took this pill and did that and whatever. That's all that people are looking for. And the bottom line is nobody cares about, here's an example, the carnivore diet, right? That's my prediction. That's what's next. That's what's coming. Keto's going to fade out. Carnivore's next. So somebody says to me the other day, really? But aren't people concerned about the environment? They don't give a rat's ass if they're going to get a six-pack. If I say to you all the animals are going to die, but you're going to get a six-pack, I'll feel sad for a few seconds, but I'll go do whatever it is.
It's funny you talk about carnivore.
I'm telling you.
I just did it for 5 days.
Yeah.
I just tried it to see what it was all about.
Okay.
And it was okay. Well, I really came to the conclusion it's not my thing.
So what was your definition of the carnivore diet?
Just meat and broth.
Okay.
As far as I went was turmeric, a spice.
Yeah.
And mustard. That was as far as I went, and coffee.
Okay.
That's it. It was water, tea, coffee, mustard, spices, salt, and meat. So it was literally all I ate. And do you know, usually when I make a shift, when I did a 3-day fast, I found I felt better than if I did, my wife's never heard me complain when I do something pretty extravagant.
Yeah.
But she was like, you've been telling yourself, you're like, Melissa, I don't feel good. I didn't feel good on it. I did for 5, 6 days. And I just didn't feel good. Bowels were still moving, still working out every day. Everything was there, but I actually felt like I was heavier in the stomach.
Yeah.
I'd lost about 4 or 5 pounds. But what's interesting is that after day 4, I stopped losing.
Right.
So that's when I said, okay, time to change things.
Yeah, but you don't have anything to lose.
No, but I have some.
So.
But the big thing is that I wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
When I fasted, what was interesting is I was 186 when I started my fast. I finished at 176. But the first day I lost, And I wasn't even doing it for weight loss. I was doing it more for temperament.
Ah.
I'm a person who looks at my month when I'm eating, and I need to do one thing extreme
Yeah.
or challenging
Yeah.
or fun
Yeah.
or different, because then 2 weeks later my temperament is really good.
Right.
And then that fourth week of the month, I kind of start to be like, oh, there's a cookie, I'll have that, right? And so then the fourth week, my wife says that's when you start to like teeter-totter. So then you do something extreme again, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not so much yo-yo. I just find
It's your personality.
it's my personality. It's also, it's like going to the gym and just being like, hey, I just don't feel like lifting weight today. I feel like just going for a run or a walk and doing 1,000 push-ups to push myself. But I tried it. I just didn't feel better. Fasting, I felt better. I've done shakes and veggies. I felt better. I've done just vegetables. I felt better. I've just done broth for a day. I felt better. But the meat thing, and you know, when you start to look at Indians, like that's where I come from.
Yeah,
I like to
good
look at
point.
ancestral history. We're not tentatively really big meat eaters.
Exactly.
Digestive system felt okay. Everything was fine. I just didn't feel.
You are
And it's
Punjabi,
yeah.
right? So
we eat meat, bologna,
yeah, but-
veggies, and rice.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's interesting is I started to introduce back vegetables, and then I brought in some more carbs, and then I lost 2 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to show that my body stalled, but that's the way I was feeling too. Like I felt like everything had just stalled. Now, some people would say you need to do it longer. I agree. I just have done so many different types of eating systems that I just wanted to try it for 5 to 7 days. Because someone in my office was like, I want to try it. I'm like, let's do it together.
Right.
Right? It's one of those things, if my client says they've never tried a fast, I'll do it with them just to like text them, how are you doing? How are you doing that? But I don't know. I can eat meat all day long. Like I have a meat-based diet. Like my nutrition is meat-centric. I just don't feel, and I've weighed, and I'm sure you've tried this, is that like I've weighed my meat and I figured out what serving size actually leaves me with more energy after.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm about 5 ounces, 5 to 6 ounces per meal, 3 to 4 times per day. I actually feel way more energetic after. But if I eat more than that, I don't feel as energetic.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I kind of like to personalize it to myself. But yeah, I think that's an interesting concept that you brought up, because in our office we deal with lots of one-on-one people.
I know.
And the ones we see the results the best with are the ones who are willing to say this is going to take me 90 to 120 to 160 days.
Yeah.
Because it's, even if you're lean, even if you got everything going, it's still a rebuild in looking at it from a different perspective, because it's not going to be fast. And chances are, if you're coming into a clinic like ours, you're looking for, they want a fast program, which is interesting, but I'm like, why would you not go on the internet and find a program that you can just do quickly? When you're coming into a place like us, we're going to look at all of the angles, right? We want to look at your sleep, we want to look at your mood, we want to look at your energy, we want to look at everything. But it's tough to be able to do that. Now, so you're the owner of the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. So obviously you're a nutritionist.
Oh yeah.
But you
for
don't
sure.
practice with clients,
Exactly.
correct? Because that was actually one of my questions. I want to know
Yeah.
if you practice. Now,
No.
how long have you owned the school for?
It's gonna be 15 years.
15 years. So I think I walked in there in
you were like in my
2005.
second year?
2005.
Okay, that was my first year then, because that's how I know how long I owned it. Because I bought it when my daughter was 7 weeks old.
Okay.
And she was born in 2005.
5, because I
So-
graduated in 2007.
Whereas
Or 8. 2006 or 2007. It was one of those times.
was Gina in your class?
Yeah, no, Gina was not in my class. So I think I did it the second year.
Yeah. Okay.
I just jumped in. I remember walking in. I found it, a school in Ottawa, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go walk in and see.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And they're like, you can start tomorrow. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay, cool. We're
Right.
still like that, super flexible,
Super
right? Like
flexible.
we make it work for anyone.
So what got you into owning? What were you doing before owning a school of nutrition? Were you a graduate of the school yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so epic story. So I was in my teen years and going into university a fitness instructor, personal trainer. So those are the things I was doing.
In Ottawa?
Yeah,
Okay.
in Ottawa, and like serving at night, right?
Standard.
Great life. Yeah. So then, and even like beginning at the age of like 18, 19, hanging out with my friends, they're like, oh, why are you so healthy all the time? You know, we go to the restaurant. Like now looking back, it totally was not healthy, but compared to what other people were eating, I was a little more conscious, right? So at the age of 25, something went wrong with my health, like just weird symptoms like food cravings, weight gain with no explanation. Like I literally worked out 20 hours a week, not an exaggeration, okay? 20 hours a week. So like there's no reason why I should be gaining weight. Then I got my period 1 week on, 1 week off, and then of course that led to low iron, low energy, like just a myriad of symptoms, right? So of course I went to every doctor, every specialist. Like, I'm gonna make this story shorter because it was a long, like probably 6 months to a year of going to doctors and specialists and them saying like, oh well, you know, you're this is a little low, that's a little high, but you know, nothing really, we don't know what's wrong with you, nothing's wrong with you. So back then, like, there wasn't even Google, so I don't know what I was looking up, and it was like dial up, like blah, 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 coming down the screen on my computer, right? I Googled, like, I don't know, something like nutrients to help. Oh yeah, I was getting acne and all kinds of random things. So I Googled, or whatever platform you used back then, nutrients. You know, I was in the fitness industry. I knew that there's definitely some correlation between like vitamins and things that are wrong. So I get this list, of course, a million miles long off the internet, right? So I go over to GNC because that's all I knew. And I basically bought out the store, everything on this stupid list, and I come home and I lay it all out on the table and I make myself a little list.
That's so
because,
cool.
you know, right? Like, some with meals, some without meals, some before breakfast, some after breakfast, some here, some there. So type A personality, I make this like spreadsheet, right? This is what I'm gonna have before breakfast, after breakfast, with my meals, with supper, like the whole 9 yards, right? So I start following this ridiculous protocol, like totally not sustainable, but whatever. So I'm doing this, but I start to see some change. So I'm like, oh, I'm onto something here, you know? Nothing drastic, but like my skin started to clear up, energy was a little better. So I'm like, I'm onto something here. So I just type it in again. I don't know what I typed in, vitamins, nutrition, nutrients, something. And like, bam, the sky opened up. It was like Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. So I was like, oh my God, that's what I need to do. I need to go learn for myself because no one can help me. No one can give me the answers, so I'll go learn for myself. So actually at the time, I had 2 full-time jobs. I worked at the YMCA during the day as a social worker, so for this gambling project that they had. And I worked full-time at night for the Ottawa police as a social worker. So, oh, and P.S., if anyone knows about this, my diagnosis in the end was high cortisol. Okay. No kidding. I worked out 20 hours a week and worked 2 full-time jobs. Like, what? Anyways, you know, hindsight's 20/20. So I literally was at my day job searching this. And so I go into the boss's office because it's like August something and school starts September. So I see this on the computer. Back then you print off, you fill out the registration form. I put my check in, fold it up, go down to the mailbox and put it in. I didn't call the school, didn't go see it, nothing. I just like knew this is where I need to go. So I go into my boss's office. I'm like, I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. He's like, oh, I was not expecting that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go back to school. So he's like, okay, you know, good luck with that. So I call up my mom. I'm like, guess what, Mom? I'm going to go back to school. So she's like, oh, Lord, kid. Yeah. Because at this point, I have a degree in criminology, psychology, a diploma in trauma and addiction counseling, and I went to school for something else, world religions, but I didn't finish it. So she's like, really? Like, you really need more education? So I say, yeah, I really want to study this. She's like, well, what are you going to do with it? I'm like, I have no idea.
Figure that out later.
Yeah, all I know is that this is what I need to do. Like, I knew it so strongly. Actually, to this day, nothing has ever pulled me so strongly like that is, like, I'm certain that's what I need to do, even though I don't have any clue what the outcome's going to be. So by this time I had figured out that I had high cortisol and that was related to stress. So when I registered, I said, let's just do the part-time program, you know, it's over 2 years, it's slower, it's easier, I don't want to stress myself. So I'm literally there for 2 weeks. I go see the principal, the owner at the time, like, I love this stuff, I can't get it fast enough, you have to put me into the accelerated program. So, like we still do to this day, you know, we'll customize you a schedule and make it work. So, bam, I go into the accelerated program. I'm going to school every day, every night. I just can't get enough of this stuff. It's amazing. So, like, it changed my life more than any other education I ever had before.
So you finished in a year?
Yeah, I finished in a year.
Okay.
My health, like, major shift. But not just my health, like, from a physical standpoint. It was my mental standpoint that changed a lot. Actually, it's like a whole journey and like cascade of things that happen because of one decision you make in life and how that affects all the others, right? Mm-hmm. But anyways, so that that changed my life, knowing that information. My health started to change and my mental state started to change a little bit, but not drastically. That comes later. So then when I graduate, the owner says to me, hey, can you teach sports nutrition, because that's my background and fitness and all that, so it's a good combo. I'm like, yeah, would love to. So I start teaching sports nutrition, and like back then it was paychecks. We used to come pick up our check and everything. So it's the end of the school year, June. And so now my life has actually gone crazy, because it kind of blew up when I was sick for a reason, right? Like your body just breaks down because things are not good in your life in whatever aspect. So my situation when I graduated school, and by the time I started working there teaching, was like, it's so much of a blur now, but essentially I was pregnant. I had sold my house and had no other one to move into. The man that I was pregnant with, his child, was an illegal immigrant, like could be deported at any time, which he is now. Like just a mess. Everything was a mess. I didn't know what I was gonna do. So, but I knew I was gonna have this baby. I'm gonna be a single mom, and I don't know, I need a house, I need a job. Like every aspect of my life is unknown at this time. Like it's insane. But whatever, I felt all right. I felt okay. So I go into the school in June. So my house is sold, but the closing date hasn't happened yet. I don't have a place to live, but I made a shit ton of money on that house. Like right time, right place, amazing. And so I come in to pick up my last paycheck. It's like June, right? So I come in, I grab my paycheck. I'm literally walking out the door, and the owner says, hey, wait a second. I'm thinking of retiring. Do you know anyone who wants to buy the school?
Cha-ching.
So I'm like, wait a minute. I got a bucket load of cash because I just sold my house and I didn't buy another one yet. I'm going to be a single mom owning a school. March break off, Christmas 2 weeks, summer. Like, what? It's too good to be true. So I was actually able to buy the school cash, so I never had to take a loan for it. And I mean, I look back now, it was small scale. I literally learned how to run it in like 2 days.
What was the like? How many people were coming through the school at that point? So how many people were coming to the school at that point?
Yeah, at that point in time, we had, I think, 2 classes of 15.
Okay, still quite a bit.
So you came when we were on Merivale, right?
Yes, I started Merivale.
Yeah. Okay, so prior to that, we were on Bank Street. Our classroom only had 15 seats.
Okay.
So when I bought it, we were on Merivale, and we had like, I don't know, 24 seats, but I don't know if we filled it or not back then. So we'd have like 1 day class and 1 night class of, let's say, 15 to 25 people. And, within, I don't know, 3-4 years, I literally called my brother on like August 31st. We have to build another classroom because registrations are coming in. I'm not going to say no. Yeah. People are coming in, paying me money to come here. I'm not going to say no. And like, again, it was just serendipitous. The tenant beside me in the building that I was in moved out in the summer.
That's actually, the year I graduated. Before that happened.
They actually like just skipped town one night. They moved out in the middle of the night. So I said to the landlord, hey, can I take that space? They were like, sure. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. So my brother and I were literally in there the night before school, like last coat of paint on the walls, like picking up tables wherever I can, throw them in. There was no way I was going to turn away people. So it was like busting at the seams, just like an incredible, like, to this day.
So how many years have you owned it now? 15, you said?
15, yeah.
And so so you got into nutrition, and then I also see you teach yoga, right?
Yeah.
And now you're into CrossFit as well.
Yeah.
Right? So you're into everything, right?
Yeah.
But is nutrition still like your passion, or is it just everything?
Well, that's a good question, because people say like, oh, you're passionate about this, passionate about that, oh, this is your thing. My thing is business, really, like, but every type of business except flipping houses is like health and wellness from some point of view. Like even when I worked with the police, I was like, okay, we can reduce crime if we get these kids to eat better. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, it's the thing. And I was right. You know?
Yeah, there's lots of research on that.
Yeah.
And then so in the school, you obviously have students coming through. Is registration increasing? Obviously more and more people are starting to go through the school. What I want to know though is, what are the insights you've got to learn from students that give you the opportunity to share with some of our listeners some of the things that you hear them complain to you about? Or not complain, there's challenges that they're facing with their clients, because I bet you I'm facing them, and the client is facing those challenges, because I'm sure that it's probably 3 things that you hear, because you probably have, what, over 400 graduates there now?
Easily.
So
Yeah.
what are some of the things that some of the alumni or students are telling you that they're having issues when they actually graduate with the people?
Well, there's a big shift happening in the world right now, which people are having a hard time, like, sort of figuring out, and that is that is this business going online, or is it still going to be brick and mortar like this?
Yeah.
Are people willing to get in their car, come here, sit with you, and do these one-on-one consultations? Or is it going to shift to completely online? You know, you scroll through your Instagram, oh, sign up for the 21-day sugar detox, click here, you know, and you get these things. It's standard, though, for everyone who clicked on that, gets this, whatever, 21-day menu plan sent to them, and away they go. And of course it's not successful, which is great, because then the next day they're scrolling through 21 days later, and oh, click, cool, let's try the carnivore diet for 21 days. Oh, cool. It just keeps signing up.
So common complaint is that
like
there's so much information to the point where it's
Yeah.
bombarding the client
Yeah.
that they can't make a choice on where to start.
Well, that's true. The client would say that. Well, that's why people come to the school a lot of the time, is they say, like, I just can't get it straight anymore. Everywhere I turn, I heard this, and then this contradicts, and then this, it's information overload. So they're like, if I come to a credible institution, then I'll learn, like, okay, I'll understand how the body works, and then I can evaluate for myself. You'll come and tell me, oh, look at this new supplement, look at this new diet. You can evaluate for yourself because you have an understanding of the way the body works. You're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, because that's not the way the body works, right?
Because you must be getting some people who are just coming there who just want to learn for themselves.
Yeah.
They don't want to practice. They just want it for self-knowledge, because it's exactly what you went through.
Exactly.
I went through that myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're kind of, I think most good nutritionists have gone through something themselves and they've dug through. But there's just some, I remember when I was in class, there was just some moms that were like, we're just here because it gets us out of the house.
Yeah.
Right? We want to learn a little bit more, and it's going to make my family healthier.
Totally.
Right.
Like almost every year there's a mom in the class with a kid with autism, for example.
Okay.
Super common, at least one a year. So they're there for that purpose only. They just tried some things with their kid. They're like, I'm onto something here. You know, ADHD, autism, allergies, it's running rampant in our society. So yeah, but less and less come for personal interest, more and more to try to make a career.
They're trying to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
And so how many of them are coming back to you saying that, so they're coming back and saying they don't know if they should go online or not?
Yeah.
And then what's the other complaint that they're having? What's the other issue that they're facing as nutritionists?
Yeah, finding clients who are committed to the idea that this is not a quick fix, this is not an overnight thing, and that you don't just see a nutritionist once and then, you know, go off into the big bad world with your meal plan and hope for the best. That's not, you won't be successful.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
I used to do one-time programs. Now if someone says to me they want to meet me once, I say I can't, I don't work. I don't do that. I don't do I only do one-times if you just want a food sensitivity test. We're going to spend 90 minutes and I just give you a food sensitive menu plan, but I tell them it's not a program, it's just a place for you to start. Our coaching program, everything was 3s. I did the one-time appointment. I say that's a fantasy now.
Yeah.
People say to me, oh, I want to see you once. I'm like, sure, great, but remember that's also a fantasy, because there's no timeline at the end.
Do you think it's for financial reasons, or like?
I think people are also scared of commitment.
Yeah.
It's the commitment thing, right? So, but our results quadrupled. Like I'm talking 500% difference when we even went from 1 appointment to 2 appointment, then 1 appointment to 2 appointment to 3 appointment, to then adding in food logs that people would send us on a daily basis. Our results nearly like hundreds and hundreds % jump.
So is that what you use to convince them from the get-go? Like,
I think
results are, you won't see results unless you do it this way? Like, what's the selling feature to say, like,
my
hey,
thing is my
do all
experience,
this?
right? So I'll say that we're almost going to reach over 5,000 people this year. So I can say to you that we can do it one time, you can do it your way, or we can do it together, and we can analyze the data, collect the data, we can give you a starting point on where to go, and we can give you the information on how to start, right?
Yeah.
Like it's 2 hours, it's 1 hour and 10, and it's 45. But our big theory is progression over perfection. We're not after the perfect program.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you know what's really interesting that we've learned is I'm actually more upfront with clients now, saying, listen, when you walk out of here for the first appointment, I've only got it 80% right, and I may have it totally wrong. But as you send me in your food logs, it's going to give me that opportunity to fine-tune those last little details that you may be having. And if I see what you're eating, I can actually give some real advice.
Yeah.
But if I'm just guessing, because people will always say, I'm sure you hear it, well, I eat really healthy. Okay, so let's just make sure we take a step backwards and realize that's also a farce.
Yeah.
But so then, in terms of students, what have you learned from your students? Because that's another cool thing that I think. One thing that me as a coach, I've working with so many people. At the end of the day, I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm in a great situation here because I get to learn from other people of all ages, and then like I tell people, I'm not wise, but I've had the opportunity to listen to people who are wise.
Yeah.
So what's an aha moment that you've heard that you're like, wow, this is true?
Oh, that's a good question. I just feel like I learn, like from the day I graduated, so many students say, oh, I'm not confident, I'm not confident, like I don't think I know all this, and I'm like, it's okay. You have the whole rest of your life. Like what I know from the day I left school to what I know now, it's like 100-fold. Because that was the foundation, and then if you're passionate about something, that's actually what separates you from the pack. Because people also say to me, do you think the market's saturated? No, hells no. Because you're unique and you're going to go after it in your own way and target clients that are different from the clients that I'm going to target. Like your approach, for example, some people are like, oh, I went to see Harry and like I'm scared of him, because you don't bullshit around. And some people need to be like, oh, just like coddle along.
I can be a little bit of both, but I'm very I'm very upfront with people, right?
Yeah, exactly, which is going to attract a certain type of clientele. So people say, is it saturated? No, you do you, girl or guy, like just go out there and do it your way. It's not saturated.
I think it's also that it's not so much saturated, but it's also hard work.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was talking to my wife about this and I said, Elsa, did I find it this hard to start? Because, we've gone through some nutritionists who would come work here and like, well, I want to start seeing clients. I'm like, you haven't even been here for 3 months yet. And I need you to learn how to work the cash, work the phone. Because I said, no matter how much you know nutrition, it's booking in a client on MindBody and being able to tell them about the program and saying, I remember when I first charged $100.
Yeah.
Then I charged $300. And then it was like 500.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to be confident and able to do all of the back end stuff because that's what's going to gain the confidence of the client.
I'm going to throw this back at you because I have this debate with my students all the time. Do you think an entrepreneur, it's born in you, it's in your blood, or it's something that you can learn?
You know what? I think it's something that you've got to be ready. Like, I think it's born to an extent.
Me too.
I think you can learn it, but there's a level that I've learned because my dad owned his own company.
Exactly.
My brother,
me too.
So I've seen the hours of hard work that go behind it, but there's the second generation entrepreneur. Like, for example, let's say my dad handed me his company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I started working. Then my kids would see a different entrepreneur style than my dad, right? Because my dad would have been the guy every night making phone calls, whereas I would have been able to walk into it a little bit more. But I do believe that you can be a nutritionist. I think one thing that I've learned from when I was working a lot with Charles, like when I took a lot of his courses, is that I think one thing is there's your people who are willing to go put it on the line.
I know.
Right? Like people, I remember I've had staff who say to me, oh, I wouldn't run it like this, I wouldn't run it like that. I'm like, yeah, but it's not your money. Wait till you put your money on the line. You're not just thinking about the one area, you're thinking about 6 different areas at once. And when it's your money, you're thinking more of what are the plays that are going to make the wholeness of the batter, right? Not just of that one issue.
Yeah.
But answering your question is, I think that entrepreneurship is something that's, you have to have it in you, and you're willing to bet on yourself because you are your paycheck.
That's what I believe too, because like I've even proven it. I've always said, if I had a real job, I'd get fired on the first day. I did.
So where was your first real job?
So
not that you never had a real job. Where's your first real job working for somebody? I mean, because you worked for the Ottawa Police. You worked.
Yeah, but again, see all these jobs. So I got a paycheck from the Ottawa Police, but you get in a cruiser and you drive around for 40 hours. No one's looking over your shoulder telling you what to do. Hell, we went to see Bad Boys on shift.
But that's a different type of entrepreneurship that I was thinking too.
So it's different. It's not like a real job. Like I once had a maternity leave contract where I was working as a social worker in an office. And in the first week, I went in and was like, yo, I can only do this part-time. Like, I don't understand the concept of, like, there's no work to be done, but I have to sit here. like, to me, there's so much more productive things they could be doing, which is why an entrepreneur is successful, right? They don't sit there like, you know, making binders. This was the thing I found so ridiculous. Let's make a binder and put all these papers in it. Like, who gives a shit? There's more important things to do in the world than make binders. Like, it's so not my jam. So yeah, but they let me go down to part-time because they needed somebody. So I only did it part-time. But
And so are you finding that as you see students coming through, that's a common issue?
So yeah, so
They're
here's
not
the thing. Yeah. Students will say like, well, what am I going to do with this education when I'm done? Well, my explanation is that people usually go one of two routes. They'll go the route of being a nutritionist, like seeing people one-on-one, which is self-employed no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's going to come in here, you're not going to take EI off their check and all that, do you?
We like staff.
You
I like
do?
staff
Okay,
because
it's
then
rare.
we're all on the same team.
Totally.
And the other thing is too is that the 2 girls I have now are amazing.
Yeah.
And if they see clients, then we just move them into like a commission based.
All right.
Right. So then I always like to make sure they have a base.
Yeah.
Right. So here's your base of
Yeah.
certain dollars per hour. So at the end of the year, you're guaranteed.
That's really good.
But that's what happened to me. Right. So I owned my health food store first. So I was guaranteed pay.
Yeah.
Working that store, and then I could see clients on the side, and I was able to build up my experience.
Right.
And I used to do tons of stuff for free, which I see a lot of people not willing to do now. They walk out of school and they say, I'm worth $100 an hour. I'm like, I'm not even there yet.
Prove it to me.
And I've been doing it for, you know,
Yeah.
I've done, but I think that what I've seen is that more and more it's that there's the hardship that comes with it, and why I like to give my staff a base pay is because then as they grow, I told them I'm going to pay them to train them, but
That's
they've got to
amazing.
help them. They know the whole business, and they know how to work with people.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been lucky because they have their own unique skills. And I think that's what I was saying. There's a second type of entrepreneurship. The person who can work for somebody, can be a good teammate, but also can be their own boss.
Like
and making
self-direct themselves.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
think that's what I was saying about entrepreneurship is there's the people who put it out on the line, they'll open up the clinics, they'll
Yeah.
sign the lease,
Yeah.
and they'll just, like, you know, the Grant Cardone 10x rule, like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Then there's the other ones who say, you know, and I'm probably the same way. Then there's the other ones who say, you know what, I think I can work for somebody, but they can provide me with that 80% base, and then from there I can kind of do it, but I don't want to go out on my own. Because then
Yeah.
I'm guaranteed, you know, even we see that all the time with people who work underneath people, then they leave, then what? Then they disappear,
Right.
right? Because they left and that wasn't their skill. Their skill was working with people, self-direction, organizing, great with clients, but now you got to pay rent, you got to pay this, you got to pay your debit fees, you got to have your own.
Yeah.
It all
Marketing,
adds up.
advertising,
Yes.
all this. Yeah.
You know, so I think that there's definitely challenges that we face as nutritionists.
Big time.
Right? And you really have to play who you are. I'm not, like, people have said to me, Harry, why don't you go online? I have zero desire to work, like, I have maybe 5 or 6 clients, like, overseas that I work with, but, and it's fun, and it's cool to see what you can do over the phone, but it's not the same as when you
Yeah.
see someone, you know, I've been in a grocery store and ran into my clients,
Yeah.
and I see them, and it's fantastic.
Mhm.
But if that were an online program and that was my name on it and I saw them, I'd be like, that's my program, see you later.
Yeah.
It's not who I am.
Exactly.
And I think that's why if you can play to your skills, that's who you are.
I say that all the time, like, you know, and I hear this all the time. I'll ask somebody about something. I'll say, oh, you know, I have this problem. I say, oh, you gotta go see my acupuncturist. Real crazy lady. When you get there, she has like 3 cats on her lap, and her house reeks like kitty litter, but she's awesome. Okay, like. So did she need to, like, get rid of all the allergens in her house and make everything perfect? No. She did it her way and she's good at what she does, and now everybody knows her. I don't know her name, you know, the crazy cat lady. Oh yeah, her. Like, it works. Like, just do it the way you want and what you're good at. But it's a hard sell. Like, students and I have this debate all the time, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because ultimately you go to college to get a career, right?
Yes.
And like I say to them, if this self-employed thing is not in your blood, then you need to be ready to hit the pavement and go see what's out there in terms of jobs, and not just be like pigeonholed to thinking like the only job that there is as a nutritionist is seeing clients one-on-one. No.
You could be doing
A million
social
things.
media for like
Yeah.
a person like me. My 2 girls are nutritionists. They answer the phones, they do social media,
Yeah.
they do client care calls, they help with program design. Like, they're there doing everything, and I tell people we work with you as a team.
Right.
Right. So, but yeah, you don't have to be the focus, but you can definitely be a part of the team.
Yeah.
So walk me through a little bit of your history, because what I do want to know is I want to back up a little bit in your history. So you had a baby.
Yeah.
You owned a school. Did you have a boy or girl? Girl.
Freddie's a girl. Yeah.
Okay. So you're a single mom.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to hone in on this, because a lot of listeners will say time, Harry. Time. Time and money are the two things that always become the common reject statement for, I was just doing a call with a client. She's like, well, I have 2 kids, and I don't want to overwhelm myself. I said, okay, but when do you want to start? Right? Never? So walk us through so how many kids do you have now?
2.
2 kids. Okay, so then you own the school.
Yeah.
You probably have some other side gigs. I see that you're doing gymnastics, you're doing CrossFit, so you're training. So what does a day look like so how many businesses are you at now?
Just that right now.
The school.
I'm about to launch something else, but that's it for now.
So you've got the school, you've got a podcast that you just started.
Yeah.
And you're like a mentor. I know I've called you a couple times over the past year asking.
People do that all the time.
Because you're the principal of the school, so you're kind of like hey, we're having an issue with this, and so you've got your part-time therapist, right? / mentor, / motivator. So what does the day look like for Nat?
Honestly, my life is amazing, to be honest. Like, my staff are incredible. Like, if we go back to the beginning, I used to come with my baby in tow and like be typing at the computer, breastfeeding, and like answering calls, and sitting at home at night as soon as I put her to bed, answering all those
You're
emails.
a true entrepreneur by spirit. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. Like, I'll do it. It doesn't matter. Even like I flip houses, every few years, and like, you'll find me there 11, 12, 1 in the morning, and I'm like scraping off layers of flooring because that needs to be done. I'll do it. Whereas people who know me on the surface will say, oh, Nat missed her 9 hours of sleep. Not going to happen. Oh, yes, it will. If that has to be done by that time, then don't you worry. Like, I'll figure it out. So, but now life is totally different because I have an amazing team. Like, many of the teachers that you had are still there. Like, the staff retention that I have is amazing, and like the 2 women who essentially run the business I'm not one of them. Nicole and Gina, who
Gina's been there forever.
Yeah.
Gina was the one who signed me. I came and saw you. She signed me up.
She was in the first class of the year I owned it, and then she wrote me this hilarious email. I wish I would have kept it, where she was like begging me to give her this job because back then I didn't post it anywhere. I just basically said in the classroom, hey, I'm looking for a receptionist, like some admin assistant, if anyone knows anyone. And that night she emailed me this like hilarious email just begging me for the job. So I was like, all right, here, you got it. And it's turned out to be most amazing. So for me, I wake up without an alarm every morning.
So what time is that?
So it's about 7:21 actually. Like, it's just clockwork. So my daughter is older, so
how old is she now? She's 16?
She'll be 15 in the spring. So she has to get up at 7 to get ready. So I hear her rustling around. So I'm like, all right. So I lie in bed, think through my day, make sure everything's good, and then I get up and get the 2 kids fed and ready and off to school.
How old's the second child?
9.
9.
So I've set up my life in a way that a lot of people wouldn't. So here's the thing. I don't own my house. I rent because I can't afford to live where I live. So I live walking distance to everything. So this cuts out like hours of commuting in the day that I don't want. So I'm willing to not own my house, but rent rather. I can save money other ways and do things other ways, so that I have this quality of life is critical to me. Like, I can live in Stittsville and afford a house out there and then drive half my life on the freaking roads all day. No, thank you, not my style. So I literally wake up, throw my hair in a ponytail, make myself a smoothie, walk, scooter, bike, whatever, my son to school. My daughter, she takes OC Transpo while she's switching schools. She's also gonna walk. So then from biking from there, I bike straight to the gym. So I go to the gym.
You go to CrossFit Bytown?
Yeah, I go to Bytown CrossFit.
Great place, by the way, if you're ever in downtown Westboro area.
Yeah.
Fantastic place. They're great people.
Love
really
that
good
place.
People. Yeah,
yeah, I absolutely love it. Like, seriously, I love it. Every time people say, where do you work out? I say, oh, this dirty hole in the ground, but I love it. It's amazing. So yeah, I go there, I train like, 1 to 2 hours. I'll train at the gym.
And are you answering emails, phone?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
100%.
so you're you're like the standard entrepreneur. Like, I got up, I go do my thing, but I'm gonna work out. I might be there for 2 hours, but I'm still checking my phone.
100%. Yeah, my phone dings. I gotta look at it, and I always say that to my kids. I'm like, if it's somebody at my work, I gotta answer, right? Because those people are running my business. I need to answer them. So, but it's super easy. It's like quick things. Yep, nope, sure, go ahead, whatever. It's super easy. So
then you work out for 2 hours.
I do my 2 hours. I come home, grab a snack, something, and then usually I teach a class of some kind, maybe a yoga class, something like that. Then
at the school or out anywhere?
Anywhere.
Okay, gotcha.
All over the place, like Civic Hospital, Good Life, wherever. Then I will come home and finally shower. And so then I spend the afternoon, like, because I'm actually an introvert, so all day I'm out. So if I'm teaching a course at the school, for example, then my workout will go later in the evening or earlier before my kids are even up, so I'll stick it there somewhere. But I'm an introvert, actually, so this going out in the day and like interacting with people, and like if I teach a course at the school, it's so draining to me because I'm like I'm putting on a show on stage basically. So then I come home in the afternoon and like, so I decompress. Sometimes I'm taking online courses. I got emails to check, like ones that need more than a one-word answer. I gotta actually sit down and answer them all. So I'll do that in the afternoon. I'll do food prep for the next day, and that day, groceries, errands, whatever it is. Then it's time to walk, bike, scooter, whatever, over to the school, pick up my son. And then my daughter can walk to everything. She's the competitive dancer. That's in our neighborhood. Groceries is in our neighborhood. Everything's in our neighborhood.
What neighborhood are you living in?
I live in the Glebe.
Oh, you live in the Glebe. Okay, so you're very close to her.
So it's cutting down. Like commuting is not even in my equation, which is fantastic. And I mean, when I owned the school, when I bought it, I was a single mom, right? So I was like, what's the earliest I can get to work by? Like not in my pajamas with shit together, and that was 10 a.m. And it's been held true. We don't start there until 10 a.m.
It's amazing. I'm the same way. I don't try to get here till 10:30 because it's too hard.
Like why am I gonna put that stress on myself? I'm the boss. Yeah. We can start at any time. 100%. So I start at my time, which is 10. And so it's worked out great for me because if I try to do anything earlier than that, it's just unnecessary stress. And then of course at night, my kids, we have certain activities. I do ollie lifting with a coach 2 nights a week and whatever. So
now they lift. Are they working out with you now? Because they're 9 and 15, so they're at that age where you've probably shown them like nature versus nurture.
Oh my God!
And are they coming with you now?
Yeah, it's amazing. So my daughter doesn't like the CrossFit gyms. She's a little too princessy. Yeah. So she trains at Good Life, which she walks to, Lansdowne. And but I gave her a program and everything, and I go with her once in a while. She'll say, Mom, can you come? I must really love this kid because she said to me the other day, Mom, can you come to a body pump class with me? Oh, Lord. So I went. I actually thought I would die after that class because I'm not used to high volume like that, but I was okay. And
but I see on your Facebook,
but
my
son comes to CrossFit. Yeah, it's a playground in there. 100%. It's a jungle gym. Yeah. Kids love it. Rings, you do pull-ups, you do monkey bars, climb up ropes, like why not? And that's what I love about the CrossFit atmosphere too. You bring your dog, your cat, your kids.
It's a very it's very fraternity centric.
Yeah.
And very family oriented. I think it gets a little bit of a bad rap because of bad coaches and bad clubs, but every club that I've ever been into has that nice family friendly atmosphere.
Amazing.
Right? Not cliquey, very much into, helping people, right? So,
yeah, totally.
And so what does nutrition look like for Nat? So we know what what does a day end like? So you go do a second workout.
Yeah.
So every day you're probably working out twice a day?
Not every day, maybe 3 days a week I work out twice in a day.
And what does nutrition look like for Nat?
So
you're not like, based on our conversation, I know you're not like a plant or a vegan.
Nope.
Or a carnivore. You're probably a little bit of everything.
I'm a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I don't type anything into my phone. I don't track my macros. If you ask me what I eat, I have no idea. I've typed it in a few times because the amount of people that ask me what I eat, I'm like, okay, I'll give you an answer.
You wake up in the morning, you have a smoothie.
Yeah.
What's in a smoothie for
So I play around a little bit though because I realize like I need more carbs. I've determined because I actually typed in what I ate because people always ask and I was like, oh my God, I love almond butter, right? My whole diet was fat because I put almond butter in everything, like just throw in my smoothie, eat it on apples, eat it off the spoon. So like my diet was so much fat. So I was like, I need more carbs for the kind of training that I'm doing. So a couple days a week I've been trying oatmeal, but let's scratch that because it's not really the case. But I'm playing with it. But yeah, I just eat whatever. So like my morning smoothie is my favorite thing in the whole world.
Don't say eat whatever, because I'm sure you.
Yeah, it's
you
not
don't,
whatever,
you're not a person
but
of
it is.
pizza.
It
Like, you're
is
not eating a pizza.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how people interpret it. But my whatever is what I'm so used to. It's all those healthy things, right?
Yeah. So you wake up.
Yeah,
so walk us through what you ate yesterday.
My smoothie is my dying wish. Like I told my kids on my dying meal, I want this chocolate smoothie. It's so good. So it's water, goji berries, whey protein isolate, cocoa powder, quarter of an avocado, and a generous tablespoon of almond butter.
Okay.
Solid.
Out the door to gym, and then you come back from your workout, because you're going to be going workout to workout, right? Because you're teaching a class.
Yeah, exactly.
So what would you have then?
So then I have some homemade thing that I made, like homemade cookies, homemade energy balls, homemade something. I don't know. It's like always the same ingredients, just in a different shape, like oats, chocolate, some natural sweetener like honey or maple syrup or something like that. Sometimes if I'm like really starving because I train like really high intensity, I'll have like a banana with it too. Because I'm going to train again, so I still need that energy. So that's when I come back from that, that's when I sit and have a real meal, which will be like, I don't know, I eat a lot of white rice, which goes against nutritional philosophy.
White rice is the best.
White rice
we already
is the
know
best.
that.
Yeah, in terms of digestion and causing less stress on your body, just eat the white rice and get over it. So I'll have like white rice and some kind of protein, shrimp, chicken, beef, I don't know, whatever, with some vegetables, or a salad with chicken on it, or a wrap sometimes.
So like a standard dinner, like a
like
standard like meat, veg, rice. And then would you eat another meal after that?
Yeah, so that's like my late lunch, because I don't really have time, nor do I actually feel that hungry until later then. And I know this, that my kids, I need to have my blood sugar stable when I go pick them up at school, because they suck my energy, right? Which I love. When I pick them up, they're like, they have to tell me everything, and it's so insane. So I'm like, okay, I have to have my blood sugar good. I gotta have eaten. I can't be hangry, otherwise, like, I just lose my patience. So I always make sure I eat before I go pick them up. So then I make supper for them, because they're starving the minute they get in the door, like 4 o'clock. So I'll have prepped that stuff in the afternoon, or maybe even on a Sunday. I have my whole week planned out.
So what does supper look like for them?
We eat a ton of chicken, so chicken, rice, and veg usually, or sometimes just chicken and veg.
And anything at night after dinner then?
So then I eat after them. So I eat later, because I just ate my lunch before I picked them up. So I'll eat whatever they ate later. And then I play with this too, because right now I'm on a strength phase. I'm trying to get stronger. So I'll have another smoothie at night so that I have that protein to rebuild during the night. And after my workout too, I shake up BCAAs, creatine, and glutamine in a cup.
Look at you.
So I do like some supplementation like that too.
So so we know what nutrition looks like. It's basically 2 smoothies a day.
It's pretty simple.
2 meals a day and a snack.
Yeah, exactly.
And then supplementation. What are your favorite? Just say your top 3 supplements, or let's say top 3 supplements that you use for yourself that you've noticed made a difference in your body, right? Because I'm sure there are different ones.
Yeah.
But if I ask you 3 different ones, I know that I can name my 3 different ones, and people are like, really, those 3? Because they're not the usual ones. So what would your 3 be?
Well, I do something a little radical, because I have a tendency to be like a major like perfectionist OCD, which is what landed me in this beautiful life to begin with, right? Was the reason I was stressed way back in those days is because I was a huge perfectionist. Everything had to be perfect. Like, it was just insane. It still lingers in my personality. So antioxidants is what I take. Every antioxidant under the sun.
Still today?
Yeah. Okay. So green tea extract, alpha lipoic acid, resveratrol, ACE, zinc, selenium, all of them. So that I'm not OCD about it, I took a jar like this, but much bigger, and I dumped all the bottles in there. All the bottles.
It's like a cocktail.
Everything. And so I take 3 handfuls of that every day.
Charles Baldwin used to tell us that all the time. He said, just take all of your antioxidants.
I heard it from Nigel Plummer, and I was like, that's awesome.
Just mix it a whole bunch and just take a bunch.
Because if you think about food, you wouldn't get the exact amount of each thing, at exactly the same time every day. So let's just go for it. There's no harm in any of that, right? Like, a bit of vitamin C, and it's not going to harm me, even if I take like 3 of something in my handful by mistake.
Paul Chek talks a lot about
I
just
love that guy.
muscle testing that day. So I have like maybe 10, 20 supplements at my house, but I don't take them all every day.
Yeah.
I'll rotate it. I'm like, nah, I'm good with this today.
Exactly.
I need this one today. So it's a lot of rotation. So you take a lot of antioxidants.
Yeah.
And then what else do you take?
And then I take a B complex. That one I measure out. So 1 in the morning, 2 at lunch. Vitamin D,
Obviously.
of course. Yeah. So that's in our house. It's in a spray bottle. Everybody sprays it in like friggin' mouthwash there, you know. Multivitamin, but again, it's hit and miss. And if I travel, I kind of do the same thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take like vitamin C and magnesium. Magnesium is another one I take.
Huge one for you, right? Because the amount of training.
Exactly.
Do you take electrolytes?
Yes and no. Like sometimes I mix up those vitamin C packets.
Yeah.
In my water and stuff like that, but again, I'm not too rigid about it.
I would just think with CrossFit, being in there, usually that's like one of my first things I give a lot of clients who do some type of CrossFit. Just let's take some electrolytes, just to make sure, because that covers so many different bases and protects from injury.
But you know, here's the other thing about CrossFit: it's not very well heated and it's not air conditioned. So
It's
in the summer, you're drenched. Like the other day, I saw a little bead of sweat come down my neck, and I was like, wow, that's the first time I sweat in like months. Because winter here, so yeah, even when I'm training hard, I'm not actually really sweating that much.
So, in terms of your balance then as a mom, and you're almost trained like an athlete, right? Like you have a very good.
I would class it as
so
that.
you're a single mom, right? So this is great. I love hearing that because so many people try to sell themselves, or as I say, you've practiced telling yourself that you're not able to do it because you are a mom and because you have to give it to their kids. And I think that what I'm hearing from you is that you do your thing. You've made them a part of your life.
Yeah.
You care for them greatly, but they've also engaged in the activities that mom does, right?
Exactly.
So they're not just seeing you're not implementing on them. You're saying, hey, this is the way I do it. Come apart with me. If not, you can do it your way because you got to learn. But this is how I roll, right?
Yeah.
So you've nurtured them to see that you've been doing. I tell people that all the time in our office. People say to me, my kids are picky eaters. I'm like, chances are you're probably picky.
Exactly.
Right? Because I know I've been around other kids and they see me eating like duck or lamb.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to try that. Perfect. I'm like, they're not a picky eater.
Exactly.
Right? You're the picky eater, right? So that's why it's awesome to see.
It's so beautiful to see, and it's critical for my relationship with my son because we have nothing else in common. Like it's like he speaks another language because everything he plays with is something I've never heard of. It has its own language. Like video games, they have their own terminology and words, and like when you speak in Chinese, you know. And then like these precisely Chinese or whatever they are, like Pokemon, Digimon, Bakugans, and all these like the terminology they use. I don't even know what this kid is talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say, but I don't care either. Like it's not my jam. So. Like I can say, yeah, that's cool, and he'll come and show me, oh look, I just got this thing on Fortnite or something, like, oh that's great, but I mean, I'm not the one to fake it and be like, oh that's so awesome, honey, like I don't care. Yeah, like high five, have at her, it's fine, but so we connect through activity because it's the one thing that we have in common, so I can't lose that, otherwise like we speak different languages.
I think as I realize more as a parent too, I think it's the same thing, is that they just want you to be engaged with them. Spend time with them.
Yeah.
And I think my kids actually like seeing me and their mother work out and have time for ourselves because
do.
I think they actually honor it more. That when we say, hey, we're going down for a workout, they're like, okay, we're going to go do this. You go do that. Like, okay, we'll see you after and we're going to do this. I think they're almost at an age where they appreciate it more.
It's adorable. Like I've seen my daughter just watching me, and one day we went to the gym and it was a partner workout. So all 3 of us were at the gym. And so I said, you 2 partner up, you 2 kids partner up. Now I'm going to do it myself. I'll do the whole workout individually. And so my daughter was like, wow, Mom, like that was awesome because she did it. So she knew how hard it was. And so she was like, you did the whole thing by yourself? I was like, yeah, because she shared with her brother and it was still hard. And so, yeah, like as much as I probably embarrass her and annoy her in so many ways, like I know she thinks like my mom is pretty badass.
So
you know?
What were some of the struggles to get there? Because, you know, that's what you're telling us. I think one thing that, you know, this podcast is all about is that sounds great. I know it sounds great, but I also know that probably took you lots of hardship to get to that schedule, because when someone says to me, I gave up wanting to own a house, I'm just going to rent for convenience, you realize something because you either hit rock bottom somewhere and you're like, you know what, what's my values, or Simon Sinek, what's your why?
Yep.
Why do you want to do this? And then when you find that why, clarity comes.
Exactly.
So what are 3 things that went, or you don't have to go too much into detail, but obviously there was hardship. So walk us through, give us a couple of tips for those single moms, or even those moms today. What are some of the things that you went through? It doesn't have to be a long story, but just giving them the insight to be like, it's, you know, what did you have? I want to get to that point, because I think that's something that is a big problem in our society.
Yeah.
Right? That life-work balance thing that I'd tell people is complete BS. But I want to know what you did to change that, because I'm sure a lot of moms would be inspired by that.
I say the same line as you, but then I have to back myself up a little bit. Like, I don't work full time, but I do. But it's on my own terms, right? So like, I don't have to be at work at 8 o'clock and I'm gonna get in trouble if I'm not. So I'm not like yelling at my kids every morning, trying to get them at the door at a specific time because I gotta get to work, and like, my heart goes out to like people who have to do that. But think of the sacrifices that I made. Like, I took the money that was supposed to buy me and my kid a house to buy a business, and took my chance on it. And at the time, believe me, I had several accountants, including my mother, who was an accountant, look at the financial statements and say I wouldn't do it. And I said, no, I'm doing it. I know that I can make this work. I know it. It's growing. I'm a different person, different personality. Let's bring someone new in and let's see what we can do. And I was right. But here I was, single mom with a baby. That's my last cash. My last cash.
It's huge.
And I was like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. So, because that's the life I wanted for myself. I didn't want the other. So, might as well give it a go. What have I got to lose? Whatever. If it fails, then I guess I do go get an 8:30 to 4:30 job somewhere, you know? But I was like, no, I don't want that life for myself. I don't. So, yeah, believe me, my kids have been through a lot of shit, actually, with me, because I didn't land here overnight, right? It's been a bumpy road, and I can't say that it won't be again in the future. But they're actually super cool for it, especially my daughter, because she's been there since the get-go. But as a result of this journey with me, I mean, this kid is so adaptable. She can go anywhere and do anything. So for me, the main things are like, I don't care what the right thing to do is. So the right thing to do is to go buy a house and, you know, change your windows when they need to be changed, and do your shingles, and keep it going so that you have money when you retire and you build up this investment. Yeah, I talk to people out in Stittsville and Riverside South and whatever, and I ask them, how long does it take you to get to work every day? Oh, like an hour. Oh, now that the O train came, it's an hour and a half. And so I work 7 to 3, and my husband works 9 to 5. So I do the evening and he does the morning. I'm like, is this your life? Like, seriously? Okay, maybe that is your life. Fair. But I've made choices that were big risks so that I could carve out the life that I want for myself. But it's still not easy. It's still not easy. So the number one thing, and like everybody can do this, it's just time management. Just get a little bit organized. So on Sunday, I'm like, okay, Monday night we have gymnastics and we have Ollie lifting that night. So it's a busy night. I'm not going to have time to cook, so I'm going to make that on Sunday, so it's ready on Monday.
So planning, strategizing, organizing your week.
You have to. If you leave these things till the last minute, especially food, because that's so important to me. If you leave this till the last minute, yeah, you're going to be going through the McDonald's drive-thru. You're going to be ordering in pizza. I don't have the time either, so I have to make a plan on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day I can take a breath, and say, okay, this is a week ahead, because no week is the same for me either. Like, who knows? I could be working at the school more. I could be traveling. Who knows? So I have to do that. Like, what's the saying? You know, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Yeah. I'm telling you. So that's
how much time do you spend with your food prep a week?
Not a whole lot. My meals are simple. They're not complicated. They're healthy. They're simple. Let's say I'm not a real fan of leftovers. So I don't really do that thing where I cook everything in advance. I don't, but
I can't do that at all. I don't know how people do that. I cook every day.
But I prep it. Like, I go make my list, I get all the groceries that I need, and then in the afternoon when I'm like taking my shower or whatever, I might cut everything up so that it's ready. So now I come home, I just throw it in the pan, make up a stir fryer or whatever. So
you do a little bit every day?
Every day, yeah, gotcha. I do a little bit every day. So that's been the main thing for me, is just being organized and also saying no. It's okay to say no to your kids. Like yesterday, I come home, my daughter's like, Mom, I need you to drive me over to my friend's birthday party, and can we get her a present? What? You're dropping this on me right now? We need to leave in 15 minutes. I was at like gymnastics training all day, but I was supposed to like pull a present out my ass. I'm like, no. no, like, sorry, you need to tell me that more in advance. So she's older, so I gave her money, and she walked to Lansdowne to Winners and got her a present. But, like, no. So sometimes I say no, like, you're part of this family, so there's some sacrifices going to be made on everyone's part here. And some moms, including myself, feel guilty about that sometimes, but no, for the benefit of the whole here, mom's got to keep her sanity, and like running around doing everything for them doesn't teach them time management and planning and all that stuff either. So you know, if you have a birthday party on Saturday, you tell me about it a week in advance, then I'll make sure you have a gift for your friend. You don't drop it on me 10 minutes before we have to leave. No, it's not happening.
Was she okay with it?
Yeah, she knows better now.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
And so I think what you're saying is, but you've also made sacrifice in terms of saying we're going to live downtown.
Yeah.
We're going to
so
do
we
this.
Rent.
Right?
Yeah.
No, but you've made that sacrifice. I think what you're telling me is you plan, you organize, you say no to certain things about the kids to make the team better.
Exactly.
And you've sacrificed so that you've sacrificed the house for, I think what you're saying is you actually have more quality time to do more for you, your family, and you're better for it.
Exactly.
I think really, because a lot of people wouldn't do we're going to rent a house. You know, they want the house, they have to do the drive because the kids need a backyard and all these other things that we see that people are trying to do. So, because one of the books I've read on happiness was buying a house 45 minutes away because it saves you money, costs you more time and happiness long term, because they say people who are sitting in their car, like me, I drive in from Carleton Place, so I know all about it, but they say that the people who drive in the car are probably the most unhappiest people because it's an extra 2 hours out of your day.
Exactly.
Right, so you're missing out on time.
Yeah,
right?
And like the city of Ottawa cuts my lawn because I don't have one, so it's the park right in front of my house. Great.
Yeah.
City of Ottawa cuts it. We just went sledding there. We skate on the canal.
And
like,
so
it's amazing.
In terms of nutrition, I really want to get to, because you've probably heard it all, right? I think the dying question for me out of all this is, what is your biggest frustration with nutrition? Because you own a nutrition school, you've worked in health and fitness, you've told me over, I said 400, you said 500, you're a mentor, you've heard everything in the industry because you're probably right in the heart of it. So what is, okay, now it's time for you to rant a little bit about nutrition. So not too many, but just pick a couple things that you think that our listeners, my goal for this podcast is really to debunk this whole thing that it's easy. It's hard. And what I always try to get a guest to share with us, and that's why I went into what are the hardships around that you sacrificed in order for you to get to the life you've designed. It's the same thing with nutrition. Like people say, oh, I can just eat like Nat. It's like, well, wait a second. You also don't realize that Nat probably Nat ate whole food for a year or two. Now she's metabolically flexible to do whatever she wants, and she trains 25 hours a week and has a little bit less cortisol than you because she walks everywhere, so her movement, you know, so what is your biggest piss off of nutrition right now? Which I'm sure there's a list, but what's the one thing that you overhear all the time?
You just hit it right there though. Stop listening to everyone else. Like once you hone in on yourself and understand what your body needs, then that's it. Stop there. Stop. Like somebody else will say to you, oh, like you run into your girlfriend, you know, walking through Rito Center. She looks like $1 million. Like, damn girl, what have you been doing? Oh, I'm on a carnivore diet. So you're like, oh yeah, no, like don't run out and you're running around like a mad person, and then you go on that, and then a couple days later you run into someone else, or you hear Dr. Oz say, oh, try this, try that, or you're standing in the grocery store lineup and you see this magazine that says do this, do that. Like, stop the madness already. Like, just cut it out. All of that's garbage. Figure out, like, again, probably with the help of a professional, because like these testing, food sensitivities and all that it's epic. So get a little look inside yourself, and then forget it. Like, just look at yourself. Stop running around. Like, people are just running around. Oh, I heard so-and-so does this. Oh, I heard. Who cares? Stop doing what everyone else is doing. Just do what works for you. And if it's working, then don't change it. Why are you going to jump on the next bandwagon?
We are taught now not to look at theory. It's like when people say, I'm a science-based nutritionist. I'm like, what does that mean?
That?
What does that mean? I'm like, okay, so you're science-based. So you know how to recommend protein, carbs, and fats. But I said the last 20% is the finesse of the client anyway. So what are you worried about, right? But it's true. I think people are very confused.
They are.
And they're looking for the next big thing, and they don't. I believe people are afraid to do it. To actually look at themselves and be like, I'm gonna write down everything I eat for 30 days, and I'm gonna pick one thing and change it, because that's long.
Yes.
It's third, like, I think that's one key. So,
and
you've
it
been,
keeps you honest, right? You're like, oh,
you've been in the nutrition industry for what, 15 years?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you can eat the way you did. But I'm sure you've done every diet in the book as well.
Yeah.
Right? You've tried all of them, and you've made mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? But it took you 15 years to get to where you are today.
Right.
Right?
And now I know it works for me. So when somebody tells me about some grand, wonderful thing, I'm like, that's nice. Good luck
Works
with
for
it,
you.
Yeah. Go for it. But I'm good, thanks. I am good. I have good energy. My body composition is good.
Do you even think about your body composition when you're eating, or are you thinking about the way you perform and the way you're mood?
Yeah. More is always about my energy, right? Like I'm not that young anymore. I need a lot of energy, to do all the things I want to do. That's my number one thing. I need energy. Like there's a million things I want to do in life still. So I need energy, and that's the thing. So like even right now in winter, I pack on a couple extra pounds, whatever. It's fine, because I sleep a lot more in the winter, which I love. And I don't miss my sleep. I gain a couple pounds, whatever. In the summer, I sweat a lot more. I'm out more. I just naturally lose a couple more. It's not about that. I eat for energy and the way I feel. And also like, because nutrition and mental health is a huge thing, just to like balance my mood energy wise too, because sometimes I'm like, ooh, and then other times I'm like, ugh.
And so what is your biggest game changer in terms of what you've changed with your nutrition or health, like in the past year? So can I ask how old you are now?
43.
Okay, so 43. So in the past 2 years, or let's say since 40,
Yeah.
okay, what is the biggest change that you've made to your health that was the biggest game changer that you've done?
Red meat.
You started eating red meat?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
Red meat, yeah. So the beginning of my life, I was almost completely vegetarian, not for any moral or ethical reasons. I just hated meat as a child growing up, thought it was disgusting. It's still to this day, there's only a few that I'll eat because it still grosses me out. Then I realized that eggs didn't work for me, dairy didn't work for me, still don't. I still don't eat eggs and dairy.
No egg club.
So that made me vegan. And then it was when I was pregnant, I was literally driving down Richmond Road, and there was a tent sign outside of the works that said, we now sell organic beef. I was like, turn the car around. I was calling my name. So I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to be able to digest this. I haven't eaten meat in like 28 years, I ate that burger. Oh, it was amazing. So from that day forward, so that's 15 years now, this is my daughter, I've eaten meats, but I'm still really picky about what I eat. So I was eating like a ton of chicken, a little bit of fish, and still not getting my energy to where I needed it to be. And even my naturopath told me many times, Nat, you need more red meat. Nat, you need more red meat. She's like, look at it in the summer when you have the barbecue, you eat more red meat, look at your energy. I'm like, nah, it has to do with the daylight. I'm telling you it's the daylight. But it is partly the daylight.
Probably everything.
But and I don't eat a ton of meat at one time, like just a little bit.
You only eat 2 servings of meat in a day, right?
Maximum. Sometimes one of those meals doesn't even have meat. So yeah, it's small, but red meat makes a big difference for me and my energy levels. And so I'm type O blood type. I know people say this has all been debunked, which is fine, but I still think there's
clinical experience. I think clinical experience is still worth more sometimes.
That's what I go by. Like anecdotally, even I'll just ask people. Like I had a nanny, she was vegan, overweight, no energy. Like just what is going on? And so I tested her blood type because I had the kid at home. I'm like, girlfriend, you're type O. Like, can we try it? But she wouldn't for ethical reasons, which is fine. I respect that. But, and again, I know somebody who's thriving on a vegan diet, thriving. Yeah, he's type A blood type. Like, I just ask people all the time, and I really think there's something to it. People can disagree, but I'm type O, and I definitely do better with animal protein.
But I think that's important. What you say is that you're not married to your eating. You were eating based on what you felt was right at that time. I believe everybody will go vegetarian one day. Everybody will eat a lot of meat one day. I just don't think that you're going to have one diet that you're going to be able to eat for your whole life.
Yeah,
right?
Precisely.
So, and I'm sure there's days that you wake up, you're like, I need meat every meal. And there's some days you're like, I don't need
It's
it.
exactly like that.
And people are so afraid of that, right? Because they're
Yeah.
married to their nutrition and it's turned into religion.
Exactly.
And that's a big thing. Like my wife said to me, she's like, I'm not in the mood to eat for breakfast. I'm like, why eat that? Don't eat.
Exactly.
She's like, yeah, but I'm gonna get hungry. So I'm like, just eat when you get hungry because maybe your sleep was off or mood was off, and that change can happen. But I think that's important to know that I'm happy that you tell stories like this because people are sometimes like, I feel like garbage, but I don't want to eat red meat. Red meat's supposed to be bad for you. No. Maybe for you, we do know is gaining weight is bad, right? So, but if red meat gives you more energy, energy is the root of all healing.
Exactly.
If you don't have energy, you're not going to cook good food, you're not going to go to the gym, and you're not going to fight your cravings.
Right.
Right? And so...
And of course, my meat is pasture raised, like no
you
hormones,
use that. What's the company that you use?
Nutrifarms.
Nutrifarms.
Yeah.
So...
I freaking love it.
Are they out of Ottawa?
I'm a rep for them now. Their meat is amazing, like amazing. It's not cheap. People complain about their business model because they like ring doorbells and do all kinds of things that people complain about. But you won't find a complaint about that meat. It's amazing. Like it's so good.
Okay, so then what is it? All grass fed?
Yeah, so it's all
Organic?
pasture raised, grass fed. They're not certified organic. They certify themselves like pasture raised. I've met the farmers. It's just animals running around outside, living their normal life.
That's great.
And the meat's amazing. So yeah, that's the meat I eat. Like I've never gone to like Loblaws or something and bought that meat. So that also plays a role, right? Quality of the food
Quality
you're
of
eating,
nutrients.
not just the quantity.
I mean, I think people can talk about how grass-fed beef is more expensive, but when you look at the protein content, it's even 5% more.
Exactly.
Because there's less fat, so you're going to get 5% more protein. So for every 100 grams, you're roughly getting about 23 grams of protein in a regular store, and then you're going to get 28 grams. So you're going to pay for that 28 grams, plus the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is perfect.
Totally different.
And to be honest, it cooks faster.
Yeah, it
Grass-fed
does.
meat cooks faster. So the time that you're spending, when you look at, I always look at food in a business, and I say, well, if it costs me $3 extra, but I'm spending 5 minutes less time cooking it, and it tastes better, well, I'm going to make sure that I look at the whole picture.
And it gives you more for less in the end, right? Like you'll feel satiated because you actually got what your body needed, as opposed to like eating something that's void of nutrients, and then you're just looking for more food.
And in terms of people, where can people find you? So where
can people find me?
So I know you have started your podcast. What's the name of your podcast?
Just Shut Up and Eat.
Just Shut Up and Eat. Okay, so what's the driving purpose of your podcast? Tell us a little bit about Nat's. This is a new thing that you've just started.
Yes.
So I want people to make sure they can find you.
Yes. So it's on all platforms. It's called Just Shut Up and Eat. And basically what it stems from is I'll be teaching at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition, and I'll just get on and rant about something, and everyone's laughing and clapping, and they're like, why doesn't the rest of the world get to hear you say this? Like amen, somebody's spitting the truth here. So it's just a few of my personal rants, but I plan to bring guests on too and stuff like that. But yeah, I love it. I just blab about things like this that we're talking about.
And they can also find you at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition.
Canadian School of Natural Nutrition, which is csnn.ca/Ottawa for our specific branch. I'm launching a new website that should, what's today, Sunday, should go up by the end of next week, which is nutritionwithnat.ca.
So you're starting your own nutrition company?
Well, I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. It's like ready to go, except for the main part of it. I don't
Online
know.
or in person?
Online.
Online?
Yeah,
okay.
Like sports nutrition.
Gotcha.
I think. Anyways, it's ready to go except for that actual like piece that will make money, because I'm not sure if I should do workouts and nutrition. I don't know. I'm meditating on it.
So you'll be what's it called?
Nutritionwithnat.ca.
Nutrition.ca. So you've got a podcast, you've got CSNN, plus they can find you at CrossFit Bytown.
Yeah, always there. And Instagram is also Nutrition with Nat, but a dot between the with and nat, so nutritionwith.nat. And yeah, I post actually on Instagram where I'm teaching and coaching and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
That's great.
That's
okay. Well, there you have it. Well, I wanted to bring Nat on because you're the person who let me into the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. But you also have a lot of insight to your own changes, and you're dealing with lots of people who are trying to become professionals. Good conversation about just giving people real advice.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So this is great.